I hope that we'll. Okay, recording in progress. Thank you. So discipline and extreme chinuch. I feel that I only have 17% on my phone. So sorry, guys, I might cut out. It's gonna speed up for them. For us, we're here till the end, bro. We are here till the end. I'm at 90% exactly. Okay, let's start it up. So when it comes to chinuch, probably the most famous pasuk when it comes to chinuch is in Mishle. Chanoch lanar al pi darko, to train your child according to his way. Every child is different. Every child needs their specific attention. I remember my parents, they often quoted Rabbi Yasayag, who would say, look at your hands. So if you look at your hands, every finger is different. Every child is different. Every child needs specific, needs for that child. And therefore you got to raise the child according to his needs, which is something that's so important. Also, we say every morning in Tefillah, Monem mispar lakochavim lechulam shemot yikra. That Hashem counts the stars. Each one has a name. And if there's a name for each star, certainly there's a name for each of us. And Hashem counts each of us. Each of us are counted. We are like stars. And stars shine brightest in the dark. Sometimes when things are difficult, it brings out the light of the child, brings out the greatness of the child. We got to sometimes deal with those difficulties. We got to figure out how to deal with those discipline. Okay, we'll jump right into discipline, and then extreme chinuch, and a few anecdotes on just general chinuch to sum it all up. Discipline. Society is different today. The Gemara already tells us that at the times of Mashiach, which Bezrat Hashem hopefully we're in, is that the amount of chutzpah is going to be great. It's just the other day I was somewhere and there was a kid, maybe a 10-year-old kid, sitting down, and an elderly person, like 80-year-old person, was like, take this. Oh, he could sit here. Like, you say, first of all, even though it wasn't his relative, you say he could sit. Just get up and give the 80-year-old person a seat. Like the level of chutzpah these days, unfortunately, towards parents is we would have, things that we never imagined in a million years doing to our parents, our kids are doing. It's not them to blame in a certain way. It's okay. Society is different. On the other hand, yeah. Things that we would have done to our principal, to our teachers, right? Things that like nowadays as a little bit of a teacher, 80% is class management, and 20% if you could get some teaching in there. We also do. In a way we do that. That is something that I'm going to mention right now. So kids need structure, kids need rules. It's a must. The problem is that when we parents don't keep the rules, then we make it easier for them not to keep the rules. They push the limits because we are sometimes inconsistent. Then we want to discipline them. We want to enforce the rules in order to give them the structure. But then we get frustrated when they don't listen, but they learned it from us in a certain way. Now, does that mean we're supposed to be robots? We're not robots. We're not perfect. And also, we should give it sometimes. But the point here is not to flip-flop and not to be totally inconsistent. Be inconsistent with a reason. Let's say, no, I'm sorry. We said your bedtime is this time. You said your bedtime is this time. Oh, now you did a chore. Now you were good to your brother. You'll get a bonus, 10 minutes. You'll get a reason for why things are changing. It gives them understanding. Kids are often in a box. This is now, this is then. And again, we want to minimize inconsistency. Never say, we spoke about this in one of the earlier shiurim, of like, never lie. And therefore, okay, well, what I said that doesn't count. Now is what I meant. Right? No, then again, that's inconsistency right there. They're going to learn that, right? So we're not perfect. We're not in a box, but try to explain why we're changing things. That could help keep things consistent. I guess page 1, I just put it there. Hitting and screaming are like drugs. It's a quick fix, but it's addicting. And it's dangerous. We want to speak to our children. We want to build relationships with our children. We want to, spoke about this earlier, we want to make deposits in a certain way, like deposits into a bank. We want to make deposits through all the love and all the hugs and all the good feelings that we're giving to our children, so that when we withdraw, when I reprimand, I have a buy-in already. He loves me. I love him. He knows I love him like crazy. He knows that I'm here for him. So now that I say now it's bedtime, or now that I say enough, it was enough with the phone or whatever it is, then there's a buy-in. It's not just I'm not always a what's the word I'm looking for? We're not always down their throat. We're not always down their back. There's a relationship here, a real relationship here, and therefore when I speak to them and I tell them, hey, that's it, time has come for this, then there's that buy-in. They know that I'm here for their best interest. Hitting, we should try avoiding, because number one, we don't know how to hit properly these days. Not that we just don't know how to, like, the right amount, the right thing. Right? Our parents are excellent at it, but what I mean is that unfortunately, if a person hits with anger, it's really not good. It's really not good. If right, there's slipper, belt, this, right? Like someone was, yeah, yeah. Like someone once told me, his father came into his room and said, "There's a black belt and a blue belt. Which one do you want?" I'll get you involved in the choice over here, but so um, we don't know how to hit, meaning that unfortunately, if you hit with anger, that's very bad. That's very bad, and we're not that in control of ourselves to hit with, like, I'm teaching you a message. I have zero emotions in this, and there were people that would wait 24 hours before they would punish, before they would maybe hit, before they would punish, so that they know they're not doing it out of anger. Already, yeah, they're already terrorizing the house. You wait 24 hours, but what? Yeah. Why are you punishing them? See, so sometimes they would explain to them, okay, you're getting punished now. In the moment, I would have been really upset if I would have, done this. Now I'm moving on. I remember a story, a person punished this kid 2 weeks later. He's like, oh, look, it's been 2 weeks. It was on my heart. It was so hard for me. I couldn't, it would have been from my anger. That now I'm doing it from my logic and you have to get a punishment for what you did. And so hitting is difficult because we're not doing it correctly, and we should try our best. And we don't have enough practice. Try our best to avoid lessons. Yeah, we're gonna have lessons of throwing the slipper at the bullseye. There's a story of a great rabbi, the Chazon Ish, that someone in his neighborhood, it was reported to him that he would really beat up on his kids. And he told them, don't hit the kids, don't hit the kids, like to that extent. And unfortunately, his kids left the path of Torah because they felt there was no love there. They felt it was always reprimanding, always hitting. That's definitely things we want to avoid. Certainly, Rabbi Avad Yosef writes that hitting a kid under 5 years old, that means you're not well, because like the kid's a baby. Like what are you hitting? And also, if you hit a kid over bar bat mitzvah, number one, they can hit you back. Number two, it can leave a real bad impression on, like, that's my father's hitting me. I'm like an adult already. They think there's a 5 to 11. 5 to 11 is the window. You're right. Yeah. But I remember. Uh, so, no age is okay, really. But there's room for 5 to 11. I remember. Look, all of our parents hit, so I could say it even publicly. I remember that, like, it was probably around age 8 where my father stopped hitting and it transitioned to talking. I don't remember the exact moment, but I just remember it was like, and he would sit us down. And he'd be like, "Oh, okay, fine." Like, that's sitting. But it would be through talking. And then because I'm the oldest, my brothers, they got it, like, I stopped at 8, the other one stopped at 6 and 4. So that's how it went. Yeah.
Well, that is not constant. Yeah, or just want to take away the toy. Yeah, it goes away. Sure, like they forget about it pretty quickly, but they know in that moment. That's what it's like. I hate it.
And I heard also if it's exactly, yeah, yeah, that's true. It's true. See, hitting is a band-aid. It calmed you down, but it didn't teach the kids anything. It just okay, it got them into check, but is that going to train them for next time? Maybe if the hit was hard enough, but generally, it didn't teach them anything, and it kind of caused resentment to the parents. We don't want that. This whole thing is about love. That's what it's all. That's what it's all about. The great Rabbi Rav Shmuel Kamenetsky should have a refuah shalama. One of the great rabbis in Bnei Israel. He says, "There's nothing you can accomplish with a hit that you can't accomplish with a hug." The kids, and when you hug the kid, he was misbehaving, whatever. But now you could change the situation, and hopefully he could listen to the talking. That's how we get into that. So he was asked, even if the kid does something really bad, you hug him even more. Okay, so I got to really discuss this with him, why he shouldn't do this again. There has to again be that buy-in. I saw a quote from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He says, sometimes you don't know if your kid needs a hug or if he needs to be punished. Like a kid sometimes acts out, but why is he acting out? Maybe because he needs attention, he needs this. So you don't know, does he need a hug or does he need a punishment? We often go to the punishment right away. Keep him in check or whatever. He needs a hug, he needs attention. So he says, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, if you punish him when he needed a hug, you just made things much worse. You made a serious mistake. But if you hug him when he needed a punishment, you just added more love to the world. Okay, so what's the big deal? You were supposed to punish him and you hugged him. Right? Okay, that's still good. Yeah. So again, it's hard. Here's a quote. I'm going to read this one for you. I didn't see who said it, but I think it's an important piece. The more you use your angry face and show your child that you're disappointed with him, the more you water down your power. The more you criticize and punish your child, the less effect it has on him. And then you essentially raise them to ignore the fact that you're upset. If you're always upset at them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, they're gonna just tune it out. They're gonna just ignore. Like, they don't listen to me, they don't listen to me. Yeah, you're screaming all the time. What do you expect? But if you don't, if you now like currency, I'm not using it, right? He says, you cause them to be so used to being criticized, they become numb to it. You cause a rebellious spirit to grow inside of them. Try not criticizing your child for 2 months. That might be daunting, but try not criticizing your child for 2 months, and you'll see how powerful your words are and how sensitive they will be to not wanting to let you down. Don't dilute the innate power that Hashem gave you. We have a power. We're parents. We could tell our children, hey, get in line. But like I heard from a psychologist once, unfortunately, 18 out of the 19 things we tell our kids are negative. Don't do this. Don't do that. I probably mentioned this in one of the past years. Don't do it. So we lose our, when we say no, it doesn't mean no anymore because we always say no. So okay, another no from my dad. What else is here? Right? Exactly. So we want to make sure we use it and we use it when it's right. Yes. Yes. I'm going to be mentioning that soon.
Thought something in mind about it that said, if you
It's okay. So I saw here the 4 S's for a proper relationship with your child: safe, secure, seen, and soothed. Safe and secure is in and out of the home. The kid feels safe in the house. This is the safe zone. So when a kid acts out at home, at school, it's rigid all day. Sit here, do this, do that. At home, he wants to just chill out. He wants to relax. He needs to have that safe space to just unwind. Secure is even outside of the house where he might be in a situation, but he knows he can call his parents. He knows his parents are always there for him. He knows if he gets lost. His parents are wherever he is. He feels that security.
The thing I thought was your child will always love you, but they may not always love themselves. So when you're constantly telling them all the things, over time they'll still love you no matter what. It's unconditional that they'll love you. But they might not love themselves because all the parents got it.
I mean, the loving you, the parent, is I think for the most part true, but unfortunately it could be lost. I mean, a parent loves a child more than a child loves a parent. That's generally. Um, it's actually an interesting halacha that just quickly, let's say God forbid someone's robbing the house. And the Torah talks about it. Baba Machter, someone's robbing the house. And and robbing the house means he comes with a weapon. So you're afraid for your life, you're allowed to kill him. You're allowed to self-defense. Now, if let's say what? Is that Ontario? Exactly. Exactly. Except for Ontario. Exactly. Yeah. So let's say, God forbid. Yeah. So let's say you see your father robbing you. Let's say you see your father robbing you. You hear this noise, you come downstairs, you're with your shotgun, and you see your father with a gun also. You cannot shoot him. You cannot, because a father would not shoot a son. If God forbid it's a son that you see, a child of yours, a child would shoot a parent. It's a crazy thing. But it's a parent's love to his child is much higher than a child or his parent. Of course, we have to build that credibility, we have to build that relationship that they're going to always look up to us as like, my father, my parents love me, and I know they always have me in their corner and everything like that. For sure. Like that's why I said most of the time, vast majority of the time, it's like that. That kid loves their parents. And they might do stuff.
Meaning that they won't care about it anymore because it's all their
That might connect to the last story I'm going to say at the end. Love the kids. It's obvious. It's normal. It's yeah. Yeah. It's true. So meant to command us to honor our parents, and it's respect our friend because it's like it's automatic. Very good. Very good. So, you heard it here first. He said it. Very good. Very good. So the third S is seen. That your child is seen. You spend time with them. They have to be seen. They have to felt that they feel that my parents are here for me. Maybe I've mentioned this also, but there was once a commercial of a kid that had money in like a piggy bank jar, and he tells his dad, how much do you make per hour? He's like, oh, Dad, here, whatever, $150 an hour, whatever. He said, Dad, I have $75. Can I get a half an hour of your time? It's like, well, I felt stupid, right? So the child has to feel seen, feel that his father, his parents are there for him, and feel soothed. Soothed is actual touch, hugging, kissing. There's so much strength in touch. Or a child feels that my father hugs me, my mother parents kiss me. There's a lot going on there. I remember I was probably scarred from this. This next point I'm going to say, I couldn't believe that I went to summer camp going into 12th grade. I went with my brother. We went to Israel, but the camp was through New York. So we spent New York. We spent the night in New York. We flew to Israel. Then we flew back to New York, spent the night, and then came back to Allen. So we fly back to New York with this friend because we stayed at his house. Sorry, any Ashkenazim, but he was Ashkenazi, right? And 6 weeks, his father didn't see him. His father picks us up from the airport. 6 weeks, handshake. That's it. And then straight for the bags. I said, what? Like my parents would have hugged me, crying, kissing, like a handshake. I mean, unfortunately, that kid is not connected to Torah anymore and lives somewhere in Spain random. I don't know if it has to do with his upbringing, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was no relationship. They're very sad. It's just like, wow. So being soothed has to has to do with it. I'm sorry. Okay, good. No, I just, Smartix like to poke whenever we can. You're very sorry, you know that. Yeah, exactly. Now, something like I think like what Josh you were saying before, reframing. That's okay. When Josh was saying before, like reframing things, um, is is like, let's say you say no, don't do this. Then it's a battle. It's me versus him, me versus her. So they want to fight back. They want to, but you could say something like, well, if you really want to come with us, you have to put your seatbelt on. If not, you can go home. You can. There's a choice here, but you can go home. But there's this is. It's not like an adamant no. It kind of is, but it's not framed that way. And it's like the choice is yours. I can't drive if you're not in a seatbelt, as an example, right? Um,
I thought like I'll be there off their car seat. No, they're mailing, but I had to stop the car and talk to her. You have to come now.
this is serious.
Off the car, stop driving.
But they didn't put their seatbelts in. They didn't care that.
Like,
But yeah, whatever.
they're all the other little in the life of the meeting. With my credit card, and they were off with no shoes and no socks. I had to take them off and throw them on the ground. And just from like, I'm open, I'm not hard to put it on either. But that's what we did, that years. You. They walk over there. Right. They were the stroller. They can use it now. 15 minutes, yeah, because otherwise, do it to continue. Yeah. But you're saying that work, they never do it again. I know, but I'm really sorry. My whole is that I want someone screaming and yelling at them. Yeah. There's nothing productive that would take them out of that. Yeah.
Look, as we see from this, and even the discussions, and I probably want to mention at the beginning, this is always a work in progress. There's no like, okay, now I got this, I'm good for life, whatever. There's so many situations, but the best thing we can do is every kid's unique, every situation's unique, for sure. But the baseline is our strong relationship with the kids. That's if you have that strong, loving relationship with the kids, that's the baseline. It's going to help in so many areas. A little bit about discipline. Let's say about grounding. I didn't grow up with grounding. I don't ground my kids like you're punished for the next 2 weeks. You can't do this. I don't know. What? I grew up with friends that were like, I'm punished for the next month. I can't this. I can't. I don't. I grew up with friends that were punished for a month. They couldn't do this. I don't know. I didn't grow up like that, and I don't do that to my kids. I send the kids to the room. Um, yeah. Take away the electronics. We'll talk about some electronics also. Um, Sometimes I try finding the kids, but I got it when Yosef turned bar mitzvah. He brought up to me that now that he's bar mitzvah, like money is his. He's an adult. I can't just take away his money; it belongs to him. So it's true. So I don't find I find the kids that are below 13 and 12, and the kids that are above. I just okay. No, I'm not going to pay for that then. No, you pay for that. So then it's kind of a fine. Okay. But sometimes the discipline could be something very small. So let's say with a small kid, like if you misbehave, well, I'm going to take a bite of your chocolate bar then. Like something small, but it's something that they feel. It's something that or I'm taking a bite of or like the kids fight on the Shabbat table. I want more Coke. I want more Coke. Give me the Coke. So if they're fighting too much with the Coke, I say, give me the Coke. No. And I'll drink. I'll leave them like this. Like you fought about the Coke. I poured you. You wanted more. You this. You fought with your sibling and this. You that. So there's ways how to like do the discipline. Right. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Good spot. I don't ignore, but I think just telling them.
Just got multiple kids, and two of them are behaving and one of them is not behaving. And then you're trying to do something together. That's the problem. That's the biggest. That's the biggest. Because now he's for the other two, and
Then I think the punishment's going to be
because
you're already there. You're already at the baseball game. He's misbehaving. So there would have to be something out of the box that you would need to, you know.
So you should always address parents, like mom and dad, like call your mom about whatever the police officer, Mr. President, like what you're talking to. Instead of the other way, they need to say mom, like don't talk to your mother that way, or
Where no, now it's just starting. Where one time I remember it was a Shabbat Shalom Brachot. One of our kids threw a public tantrum, and I'm not gonna say we, but we pretended it wasn't our kid. We pretended it was just. I don't want to be embarrassed. I'll listen to the speech. He's crying like crazy, right? Because you don't want to be embarrassed. That's wrong. Like, take the embarrassment, deal with your kid, and deal with your kid in the proper way. But pretend it's a private tantrum, and speak to your kid. Stay calm and be consistent.
Why
Yeah.
do we feel embarrassed? Like we really think we shouldn't be embarrassed. Like everybody who has a kid is
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many old Moroccans are like, I'm telling them to be quiet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Through back if somebody wants something. Yeah. I was there for the holidays and I'd be there with babies and they were making noise.
Oh,
and I was on my way out. And I was kicking around in the stool. And I won't say it doesn't matter. Someone said to me, yeah, think about this. Don't out. This is not. So after I took them out, I calmed down, whatever. And right before the service was over, like at 11, I went up to the man, who I know very, very well. And I said to him, listen, I really apologize, but I don't know if you know what this is, but like one of my boys have autism. We threw him out of his face, and he was like literally almost like a tear in the eye. Yeah. Are you on group?
Yeah. So I mean, I know I was when I was flying. I flew to Israel.
like, what is it that makes us? Is it
We don't like being people. Don't like being embarrassed. So we try to do things to hide it.
People are annoying.
It's
People.
like you're you go around.
It's like when you're like, I remember when I was like 25, we were kids, and there was like a kid on the airplane next to me. I'm just like,
So annoyed. Yeah.
and then like,
And now when you have kids,
I'm like, well, I'm not.
I'm just happy it's not my kid. Or like,
People behind me are probably annoyed. Right? Then you see the other parents who probably don't have kids with them, they're so much more understanding.
Right.
It was like the teenagers and they're adults.
right.
Or, they're like, tell your kids, I don't like, move over.
That reminds me actually of a halacha that. Yeah. Yeah.
I was fine with three boys. I took three boys by myself, like boys. Yes, that means Jonah.
Oh, I heard about this.
And what happened was, lost the same boys. It had 5 seats, so I put them like not next to each other, so like had fight, and it was rotating the 2 seats between them all. The headphones weren't working for some reason. I bought the headphones, so they had their iPads and they were watching it. But like the sound, I was next to them and I couldn't even hear the sound. But people behind me, these young like 25-year-olds, are complaining. Oh, they're wearing their own headphones and complaining about the sound. So they're like calling the stewardess, oh, they're too loud, or this. Oh, like, guys, I don't even hear them. I'm next to them.
Right.
I said, okay, I can turn it off, but they're gonna start screaming. So, anyways, one of them's like, I'm thirsty. Can I have the water? So I take his water bottle and I open it up, but there's the pressure. The water was squirting.
Right on the guy.
It's like, I'm so sorry, but I really felt it was just like taking like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
Give people a meeting room, start to have a township, public township. Anything, let's scream. You gave me class first.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Great strategy.
That's a good.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
But can you use a situation to your favor or to your bad?
Oh, there's no secret here, but I'm pregnant.
Right, yeah. You're reminding me of a halakha that
With the barfing, I mean,
Oh my God, that was solid.
this is a great, I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
This is a great story. You tell it to me.
I was going into it with the twins,
Oh.
they were little,
Oh.
and they started throwing up. I don't know, the elephant. They were like,
So they were.
just go. Just go.
Just go.
Right before the flight, right before they got on the flight, the elephant he was like,
What was, like,
oh.
it's like, oh, bother guy in the street.
No, what's your passport? Like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you remind me of a halacha that back in the day, the Sanhedrin, the Dayanim, had to have children because then they could be compassionate to the plate there for like to know, because they don't have children, they, just like you said, on a plane, the guys that are complaining, the kids that don't have kids, people that don't have kids. Recently, I was flying by myself and kids are screaming and he goes, I'm sorry. Don't worry, I'm happy. They're not my kids. And I know the situation you're in, I'm flying solo, I'm good, But I'm understanding because I was in that position many, many times for sure. Yeah.
Thankful that you're going back to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not from your children, from my children.
So last part of a tantrums. An older kid tantrum is also stand firm, don't be upset, wait till it passes, but speak to him. See how can we do this different? How can we problem solve? Some kids don't open up. Again, relationship over the years that should open up. We want to get to a point that our children confide in us, that they tell us their secrets. That's a very high level relationship, and that's an amazing level. And for them to open up to us is something huge. So we want them to talk. Just having in mind a kid in the yeshiva I teach at can't express themselves to even his parents, to teachers. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming. Thank you for coming. All good. So, and they're putting him in a therapist so they can just talk, right? But we have to talk to our kids. We have to build that relationship. It's so important. Okay, just a definition, difference between punishment and consequence. Punishment is, I want you to do this, and if you don't, I'll do whatever it takes for me to get you to do this, and that's a punishment. Consequence is, if you do this, you'll get this. If not, you're gonna get this. It's again, like we said before, options. It's in your hands to do. Not like, if I'm ramming this down your throat, you're doing this, and that's it. Here's a beautiful story, discipline with love. So the story goes of a great rabbi, Rabbi Torsky, Shalom. He was known as an addiction therapist, a very big addiction therapist, and a great rabbi. And the story goes that one year on Rosh Hashanah, he was younger. He was 10 years old at the time, and they had someone there, whatever, and this person played chess with this 10-year-old kid. This 10-year-old kid went and played chess on Rosh Hashanah with an uncle or a cousin that was at the house. But he knew his father wouldn't have approved of him playing chess on Rosh Hashanah, whatever, at his level, his thing. So his father calls him over and found out that he played chess on Rosh Hashanah. He said, is it true what I heard, that you played chess on Rosh Hashanah? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, I did. I'm sorry, Dad. Sorry. So if we would stop the story there, okay, he showed his displeasure in what his son did, and that message went across. After his son felt like, I did something wrong, the father says, did you at least win? and then I said, yeah, I won. It's okay, good. I'm happy you won, right? So then it was kind of like real life, relationship. Like, I'm upset about that. You got the message. I don't want you to do that again. It's not for Rosh Hashanah. But did you win? Like, this is life. I'm your father. I love you, and I'm happy for you. And I'm with you. That's such an important thing. We'll get back to that in another point. We're moving along. Don't worry, we're moving along. A little bit about technology. Just throwing it in here. A lot of time is wasted with technology. Technology opens up to everything. The kids know everything nowadays, everything beyond everything. The dangers of of technology, and the addiction, the ADD that could the ADHD that could be from every 10 seconds seeing something else. I think there's a study of this opens up a whole different shiur, but study of kids. They see 10 TikToks in a row, 10 seconds each. You ask them after a minute, so what did you like? They don't even they remember the last one. They don't even remember. Like it gives their attention span like so little. And also, if let's say you unplug their device while let's say if they're attached to it, or you turn it off, the extreme anger that comes out, it's like, whoa, like what did I do already? That like, and yeah, exactly. So so basically, filter. That's of course for the dangers, and time limits, or maybe an install a time limit and let them know. I don't know, you have 20 minutes. It's going to go off on its own. So once you give them that knowledge in advance, when it goes off, they're not going to go. They're not surprised. That's the whole element of surprise. You go and turn it off. They're going to go crazy. Right? Okay. You need 20 minutes, and we're gonna set this in for my app, and it's going to go off on its own. Right? And then.
There's also we just haven't done it with the police officer. It's like spreading the blood. It's basically the only way offline. It's like a timer clock game. And let's say the game is 10 minutes or something. So it start off as green. At 5 minutes it would turn yellow. At 2 minutes it would turn red. And then at 1 minute it would start beeping, and then at whatever it was over. So it's like the whole.
Then the thing turns off.
If you tell them 10 minutes, at 9 minutes and 59 seconds,
it's only been a minute.
It's like nothing's happened.
Right, yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, what do you mean it's over? But as long if they know that it's the end is coming, like I'll try to say you have half an hour to do this, I'll give them the 20-minute warning, the 10-minute warning, the 5-minute warning, the 2-minute warning, and then then 10 minutes extension, the 15-minute warning,
and the bell. Yeah, exactly. Extension. The snooze.
But not lying to him, but like I never tell him you have 10 minutes and this is the time. I'll tell him like 20 minutes in advance. I'll tell him you only have 10 minutes because that already gears him.
It gives that whole extra.
Next 10 minutes already fluff because he doesn't calculate it.
Right.
But I thought that timer was always cool because it just gives them a visual.
Yeah, they see.
And that's like if anybody wants it for their younger kids.
Yeah.
These are over here. It's like manual. It's not even like a clock. It's like kind of like.
It was visual.
Yeah, ours is just like you turn it, and then it like times whatever, and the lights go on. So the warnings are important because if you give them a warning, they know.
Yeah.
It's now if it's time.
It's not you warning them.
No.
Time.
That's a good thing.
It's what?
What's good about those is that it's not you reminding them all the time.
Yeah, 100%. It's his responsibility.
They're visually seeing it and they understand
And it's the visual that makes a difference because when they see the green, it's like, oh, yellow, it's like they understand like stop signs, like everything. It just like makes sense to them and they start subconsciously internalizing it. But that makes a huge difference in our life.
Yeah. Okay, on to extreme chinuch. A few areas of this. Okay, the world is crazy out there. Oh shit, yeah. Extreme chinuch. The world's crazy out there. How do I raise my kids today? I don't have the answers. But number one is there's a lot of anxiety out there. There's a lot of like, oh my gosh, anti-Semitism. Oh my gosh, this. Try to minimize. The kids don't need to know everything that's going on. The kids are happy, go lucky. They're at home. Their parents. If you're stressed out about Israel, stressed about the situation, keep it between you and your wife. Keep it between whoever. You don't have to pass it on to the kids. We're happy. Everything's good. And once they're inquisitive, once they're older, once they know, it's yeah.
No, but even the same at this age, they're like, Mom, we don't need to know everything. They tell us.
Stop already.
We're like, we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it lowers the stress in the house, and that's it's an important thing.
Why don't you know every 5 minutes what's going on?
Right.
Like someone's a TV show.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all we do.
Go to campus and see like what's going on right in your face.
Right. As we mentioned, the quarterback of it all is the parents and the relationship. So it's a crazy world. There's craziness going on, whatever. But the kid knows I have a safety net. I have my parents. They love me. and we're here for them all the time. They know that wherever they are in the world, we're here for you, and that is that safety that is they're anchored, and that's something so important. Extreme chinuch. Don't be afraid of therapy. Therapy was what's what I'm looking for. It's a taboo thing. Don't be afraid of therapy. Kid needs therapy. Kid needs therapy. Don't be afraid of medicine. The kid has a disorder, meaning he can't function fully in life and that thing. If medication could help, don't run to it necessarily. Don't write it off. Look into it. Look into it. Don't. There's a kid in our school. He can't sit for a second, and his parents are adamant against medicine, but it's causing a disservice. Like this kid is like a total disservice. Some kids you can see, it's like parents, some kids it's like borderline, some kids this. Every kid's different, and like, but this is a total disservice to this kid that he's not on a medication that could really. And there's been so many stories. There's a woman in the community that's married, kid. She has a great job, and she's such an advocate. When she was from age 9 to 17, she took ADD pills, and she said she would never be where she is now without it. Like a total different, she couldn't have gone through life without it.
Tools they need for success.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your inhibitions are regarding those tools. But our job is to give them the tools they need for success. So if it's medication and therapy, then why not? Like just
Right.
let them
I'll
experience.
often tell you that you wouldn't deprive them of like a heart regulating medicine or
even glasses, right?
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right. Exactly.
You would never deprive them of that. Like it's the same kind of balance.
Right.
But they did put glasses? No, in the old days.
Giving us an example.
An example or your glasses is if your child can't see clearly, wouldn't you buy them glasses?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely.
This next piece of extreme chinuch, these next few points come from an organization, a shir that I heard from an organization called Kesher Nafshi. Kesher Nafshi is an organization of real extreme chinuch of kids that are, let's say, teenagers and beyond, that unfortunately, let's say, if they left the path of Torah, and how parents deal with that. The religious parents and the kids left the path of Torah. They're not religious anymore. They're off the derech, as it said. And like, how do you deal with that? And from that, many of us have younger kids, but how to deal with it. Just to give you an extreme story, it's a true story, sad story, or however you want to take it. But like, this is the angle of this organization, how the loving parent is so strong. That's why it's called Kesher Nafshi, to have like a real tight bond with your child. The story goes of this kid that was addicted to drugs, like totally left the Hasidic home and was out with friends, a girl. And she called her father and begged her father to bring her drugs. Hasidic father. And like, he's like, what? Like what? And she said, please, I need it. Please, please, please. And he calls this organization. He already was in touch with this organization. He's like, what do I do in this case? He said, bring it to her. What do you mean, bring it to her? Bring it to her. Show the loving connection. She's so distant from you. Show that you love, show that you care for her. So he's driving in New York somewhere, and he's going to bring his daughter drugs. It's like what? And when he gives it to his daughter, she says a very sad thing. She says, Dad, I love you so much. Thank you so much. Because other girls, similar to her, that Hasidic, that did that as well, that whatever, other girls, their parents didn't bring them money or bring them the actual drugs. And unfortunately, they sold their bodies in order to get drugs. And like, unfortunately, such extreme cases, but extreme love of the parents, extreme connection to the parents, even though my kid is so far, like, still to somehow be connected. You should never know such stories, but just to give you that extreme story, to extreme connection and love to our kids.
Like you said, parents sometimes have punishment and consequences. You can't. Consequences there to teach them. You can punish them. It's not gonna
Yeah, it's not gonna.
She's gonna find the drugs anyway.
Yeah, right. So when that day comes that they turn around, they know that they come back, right? And very hard, extremely hard as a parent, and but that's the thing, that when, we always say, like, teshuvah, Hashem is always there with his arms wide open, waiting for us to turn around and to give him a hug. He's there for us. We have to be that parent that's always there. you're a teenager, you need your space, you this, you that, whatever it is, but you know I'm here.
It's always better if you have the connection with them than somebody else, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, we talking about this a couple nights ago with my buddies. You know, the cat had like a formal last night, right? Like, you know, right? Like, there's a bunch of different grades, right? So my buddy he basically had like a pre-party, like a party like for one of his kids in his house last night, last night, I think. And you know, I was telling you, like, you know, we let Joey have a few parties already, and I actually bought like Joey like a bottle of vodka for or whatever. No, I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my kids all.
Because
Better coming from that.
Yeah.
like I'd rather Joey and Ricky whatever. So your friends over at our house all the time, and our friends love us and they come over. Because I'd rather them have it in my house.
Yeah.
And I give them the alcohol than they go out and do things that I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? This way I can monitor, you know, instead of them going out and hiding it from me.
Don't tell us.
That's right.
Don't even touch us.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's speak about it like moderation and
Right.
yeah, when the parents oversee and then the kid doesn't have to. I want to speak like he doesn't have to hide because if everything's no, you can't touch alcohol. No. What are they gonna do? They're gonna find it somewhere else. They're gonna, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. So when children and parents have an amazing relationship, usually also that translates to the children wanting to do the values the parents do. The parents' values are Shabbat, kosher, this. So the child that loves his parents are naturally going to want to do what his parents do because he loves his parents. They have such a strong relationship. And that's the best antivirus to kids leaving the path. Connecting to that child on their level. Let's say we mentioned like in the chess game, like, did you win? Here's something similar where the Torah tells us Yosef Hatzadik was mesalsil besaro. He was into his looks and he curled his hair, whatever. So his father, Yaakov Avinu, one of the explanations, he gave him a nice coat, a ketonet pasim. Okay, it caused a little bit jealousy among the other brothers, but he knew what his son needed. He knew that his son needed something nicer. He appreciates beauty and he needed that thing that was nicer, and that could make that connection. And then what happened was when Yosef Hatzadik was about to sin, Chachamim tell us what saved him when he saw a vision of his father. He said, what was that love that I have with my dad? I go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this. My dad would be upset if I would do this. Connects to something I'm going to say later also.
On the first chapter trip, remember many as well?
Yeah, he spoke.
That was one of the most impossible
speeches on Shabbat
in my life.
That we have to be a parent that when we're going to see it in a later story that when our kids think about us, they think only good things because I don't want to disappoint my parents, not from a place of sadness or difficulty, but like I love them so much and they love me so much, and I don't want to disappoint them. I love them. I want their values. Yeah. Remember that your kids are everyone is tzaddikim. Welcome back. We're still going. Remember your child is a tzaddik. If you have a question, what should I do? Will the outcome further the relationship or make it closer with my child, or would it make it farther away? And if the outcome of what should I do in this situation with my child, if the outcome is, well, it's going to probably make our relationship closer, then usually that's the path that you want to take. If a child feels, God forbid, that the relationship is fake, it's just for the family to look good. Everyone sit at your place. Everyone take the family picture. But really, that lovey family picture is only for the family picture, but it's never in real life. The kid doesn't get it. It has to be in real life that they feel that they're being loved. Right? It's like the kids are all fighting. And back to the fighting, right? But yeah. Exactly. A child, you never. So one of the things as well, never kick a kid out of your house. Chas v'shalom, no matter how far the kid is. No matter how bad the kid is or whatever it is, you never kick your kid out of the house. You're allowed to let them leave. Look, if they're bad influence over other kids, there's always a question, but you should try your best to try not to throw the kid out. Of course, there's influences and I know cases where cases, but I'm like this, but and my parents asked me, let's say smoking. Let's just say, I don't smoke in the house. I don't. My parents said not that the younger siblings shouldn't see me smoke. Okay, so the kid is at home, but they have an understanding with the parents or whatever it is. But we should never have these situations. A nice line as far as like keeping the kids on the path of Torah. Chabad kids. So here it's a cute thing, but it's a meaningful point. Chabad kids are very good. Like they could be anywhere in the world, and they keep their religion. They're very strong. Why? They're always influencers, and when you're an influencer, you don't get influenced easily. But if you just go with the flow, you get influenced. But if you're always an influencer, so if you're raising your children as proud Jews, right? They're a proud Jew, and it's not like, oh, but I have to hide. I have to because we're Jewish, we have to keep Pesach. Oh, because we're Jewish. Oh, so expensive. Everything's so expensive. Then it's like, I can just get influence from other stuff. No, we're proud Jew. Look at where we came. Look where our forefathers fought to be here. Look at us. Look, USA is taking on Iran with Israel. This is crazy. We're like a little tiny little nothing, and we're eradicating the evil from the world. It's like crazy, like proud, right? So when we are an influencer, we don't get influenced as easily. We're on the positive side. Now here's some notes from a great rabbi, Rabbi Noach Orlowek. A couple pages left. Don't worry. Rabbi Noach Orlowek, Shlita is he's the mashgiach of a yeshiva called Torah Or, known for his chinuch classes, and these are from some of the notes of the shiurim that I took in the past. School and home. Home is where your child is raised. Of course, school has an effect. The friends in school, the influence of the school has an effect. Not saying no, but the school isn't going to raise your kids. Your home is going to raise your kids. Raising children might feel difficult at times, because especially these days, we're very into instant gratification. I quickly could prepare a meal, and back in the day, it would take all day to prepare a meal. Now, microwave quickly. We live in the instant gratification life. We know everything. We can check what the weather is in China. We do everything we know. With our kids, it's a long process till we see nacha. Like, okay, there's a nacha that did well in their test, a nacha when they're a baby, they start walking, they smile. There's beautiful nacha. But the real nacha, I think we're investing is that Bezrat Hashem, when they get married and they have a family and they lead a good family. Like, wow, the parents can relax a little bit. It's like, wow, look, Baruch Hashem, we raised this good child, good family, right? So the nacha comes a long time later. So it's like it's tough. But remember, things that we put in strong efforts for, the just like in a marriage, it's every day. But there's the great reward. So it's here as well. It's difficult, but there's great reward.
I used to say it because I was always going to drive me crazy. He said to me, you have to wait until he's 25. When he's 25 years old, you will know what you did a good job.
Oh, good.
I think you're doing a great job and keep on doing what you're doing. But what you want is to teach him this today and he does it tomorrow. He said at 25 is when you'll be able to. Until then, you're wasting your time with everything. Just keep on doing what you're doing. At 25, I'll know, and I can promise you at 25, it'll be fine.
That's good. I'm
sorry, keep that in mind as I leave it at.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just like a person strategizes for everything, for his business, strategize for your children, how to strengthen that relationship, how to do the best for them, how to help them, don't just wing it all the time. Let's strategize and put effort into it. Also, don't let the if only bother you. If only I was richer. If only my husband was around more. If only I had more health. If only I this. If only I that. Then the situation would be better. Okay, the situation is what it is. That's where emunah comes in. And of course, you can switch the situation. Sometimes the husband should be around a little more. Sometimes, there could be some way to make a little bit more to ease the situation in the house. Whatever. But have that emunah, that those if onlys, especially the ones that are out of your reach. This is the situation we're in, and we're going to make the best out of it, and have that faith that everything is right there for you to be the best for you. An important thing with regards to the family dynamic is is having time for yourselves, just the family. Some people, they can lose their raising of their kids because they're always with friends around. And every Shabbat meals with friends. And every time we go on vacations with friends. And then, so then it's all about the friends always. And then the kids. I remember my father telling me this many, many years ago about someone, why he said it, whatever. But he said, he lost his kids because every night he had friends. Him and his wife had friends over every night. And they play cards and they drink and they'd have every night, every night. It's nice to have friends. I love you guys. I love everyone, right? But there has to be that private time, just the family nucleus, to have a healthy home, so the kids feel there's a connection to my parents. There needs that stability. There needs that glue, just the family itself. Be calm when making decisions. That's a crazy story. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, great rabbi, at 3:30 in the morning, was dealing with a pikuach nefesh situation, a life and death situation. Whatever the situation was life at 3:30 in the morning, and he had a chavruta there, Rabbi Goldstein, and they had to make a decision. At 3:30 in the morning, in the middle of dealing with this, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein prepared a tea for Rabbi Goldstein, like while they're discussing, like you're in emergency mode. Hold on a second. We need to still be calm and make decisions properly, even in emergency mode. Okay, if it's super urgent, like life and death right now, okay, but it seems like they were dealing with something very heavy. Pikuach nefesh, that's all the details I have on it, but there has to be a sense of calmness. So the decisions we make, shouldn't be rash decisions, but from a place of calm. It's healthy to cry. This is just, I guess, general stuff. Emotions are normal. Yeah. I guess everything. But emotions can't control you. We have to be above our emotions, mind over heart. Okay. Learn who your child is, learn his strengths, learn his weaknesses, help him grow. Again, that different figure, learn who your child is. Prioritize your children over everything. Where you live, where the friends you have, like this is going to affect your children. Like you said, 25 years and I see, but where they really are, so many things along the way could affect that. Oh, I got an amazing job offer in Austin, Texas. Well, how's your child going to look 10 years from now? If he went to Jewish school, are there Jews around? Or there this, or there that? So but it's a good job offer. So you put that above that, then prioritize your children or everything, and then they will know, they will feel that my parents, they prioritize me, and that's a very strong, good feeling. Also, if the parents are important in the child's eyes, this will also help them have a good feeling about their parents. They're important in the community. July 1st is 10 years of Magen David. I plan on giving a little State of the Union, little speech. And I do want to thank Magen David,
Make sure Donald Trump.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he signs off on this, right? But I do have to, I want to talk about what the shul gave me. I don't want to talk about what I did. I don't care about that. But I want to and one of the things I think the shul gave me is that I'm a rabbi of the shul. They hired me as a rabbi of the shul, and just my kids see he's the rabbi of the shul. That's an important thing. Board members of the shul, it's a big thing. They say oh, my dad's part of the board of the shul. That's an important thing. It's an important role. And whatever. Don't ever do it, right? Or when I dated my wife, she told me, because I was in Kollel, she says, anything you want in rabbi, you want to be a sofer, you want to be a shochet, just not rabbi of a shul. Because her father was a rabbi of a shul, right? But, okay, it's careful what you wish for. Baruch Hashem. But yeah, so when your kids see that you are important and important in the eyes of the people around, it gives them also something to look up to. Here's important one-liners, then we'll end with a story. Important one-liners. Never embarrass your child. That crushes them. You're embarrassed? You embarrassed me? In public? Never embarrass your child. Outlawing everything invites rebellion. We spoke about this. If everything's a no, they're going to rebel. So we know of cases. There's families, no candy. No. When they come to the aunt's house, our house, right? Whatever. They got our house, candy galore, right? Because they're not allowed to have candy, right? Or
There's a guy with Africa.
Yeah.
He married an Asian girl. She converted, probably got from the converted to lunchbox, but she was very Asian. She was barely, she's spoken English, but not well. So that like if his kids ate for breakfast, like
Rice.
fish and rice, like the lady, like the egg waffle.
Oh my God.
They used to come to school, right?
Eat all the candy.
I'm like Judah, what's going on like with your kids? Like I've never seen kids eat candy like that. But if you don't understand, my wife, she has no clue. Please don't tell her. This is the day off. She's like, we eat rice and seaweed for breakfast.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's the thing. There's like, if everything's a no, no TV, right? So this is like in the yeshiva world, like parents didn't have TV, but the kids would sneak out and watch at the grandparents' house. So that was always the thing. No TV, no. They watch at the grandparents' house, right? Or no drinking, like we were talking about before. If everything's no, then they're gonna find ways to find it, right? The parents give a little bit. This is a little bit of a sad story where, not so sad, but like, a parent told no cake, so they dropped the kid off at daycare, and they told the daycare, even if there's birthday parties, I don't want my kid having any cake, no cake. So, okay, so came a cake day, and they wanted to listen to the parents. Sorry, little Sarah, no cake. Sorry, sorry, little Sarah, no cake, no cake. When the parents came to pick up the kid, where's Sarah? Where's Sarah? They found her under the table eating the crumbs of the cake. Is that normal? And it's because everything's a no. They're going to find rebellion, right? Everything has to be in moderation. Be positive and look at the positive. Stick your neck out for your child. Like, sometimes there's those tough phone calls to the school where you take your child aside. Like, who else is going to do it besides the parents? Stick your, so they see like, oh, my dad's like fighting for me. Parents are like, they're on my side. We know the concept, apples don't fall far from the tree. So that's good. The kids often are connected to the parents. But if it's windy outside, the apple falls far from the tree. Today's society, there's a lot of crazy winds out there, crazy types of lifestyles and all that stuff, right? So we have to teach them the right way. Or if the tree is too tall, usually the apple would fall far away. Once it falls from such a high place, it can fall away. So if the parents are too high for their children, they don't have time for their children, they're too tall, so to speak, for their children, unfortunately, the kids could be too far away. Never give up on your child. Always pray for your child. That's what we're going to end with before the story, is always pray for your child. And I heard a line, if you don't pray for your child, it's achzariyut, it's cruelty. Pray for your child. Pray to Hashem. My child needs this. Hashem, please help. And ask Hashem, just like the proper angle of prayers is like a lawyer. Hashem's our father. So if we go to our physical father, say, Dad, I want a Lamborghini. He's going to laugh at you. But if you have to prove a real strong case why you deserve a Lamborghini from your dad, right? Real strong case. So to Hashem, I want parnasa. Okay, why do you want parnasa? Today I was at the Bet Din. I felt bad a little bit for the girl. I was at the Bet Din, and Rabbi Lowy, he's telling this girl, why do you want to convert? And she didn't have a good answer. Why do you want to convert? Why do you want to convert? And she was like tearing up. But he wanted to hear something from her. Okay, like the general answer is, so she said, she said he was happy with that answer. He said, I just feel it inside. I would rather die a Jew than live as a non-Jew. Okay, I see you're really committed. The general answer is, I feel this is the truth. After everything I've learned, everything I'm getting, this is the truth, right? But at first she was just, I feel it. Or she happened to be, she grew up in Israel, but she wasn't Jewish, like Russian or whatever. She's like, I grew up this way. That's why I want to be Jewish. Okay, but you could keep the mitzvot as a non-Jew. But the point is, forgot the point, is that what's the point I want to get from this?
Yeah, it doesn't fall far.
What? Apple is far from the tree? Hold on a second. Well, this is really far, right?
And there's a hurricane.
What do I want to say? Advocate for your children? Pray for your child?
Your children.
How do I get to this?
I like to.
If you want part outside, they're buying from you.
Yes, very good. Thank you. So that's the thing. So explain yourself to Hashem. Also explain to Hashem why I will pray myself. So Hashem, my child's having difficulty, and I pray, please, because it's going to be better for him. So talk to Hashem.
I think when that story told me about the boy with the yeshiva.
Oh yeah.
That's also like the power of prayer for your child.
Power of prayer. So it's a side type of story, but it's a strong story where a rabbi came to a bigger rabbi. The bigger rabbi is Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman, one of the great Gedolei Hador, and he says to him, I want to kick this kid out of yeshiva. This kid is a troublemaker, I'm kicking him out of yeshiva. I want like the go-ahead. So the rabbi asks him, what's his mother's name? He said, I don't know what his mother's name is. I want to care what his mother's name. I want to kick him out of yeshiva. He said, hold on a second. You want to kick a kid out of yeshiva, but you didn't even pray for him? You don't know his mother's name? You didn't even pray for him? You get out of here. This is ga'ava. You're just haughty. You want your yeshiva to be all that, but you don't even put the right effort into the right. So that's a rabbi student, but also with the parents, we have to pray for our children. Very, very important. I want to end with a story which I think sums up. It's a difficult story to hear, but it sums up. I think sums it all up. This whole series. A story of a kid who had a tough life, and even though his parents did whatever they could, when he was thrown out of school, thrown out of another school, thrown out of another school, in rehab, out of a rehab, in rehab, out of a rehab, and he became suicidal, unfortunately, and he got to a point that that's it. I'm going to take my life. Chas v'shalom. And he took a cup of water, and he had 50 pills, and he started taking the pills 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and drinking and drinking. Luckily, for some reason, he took a small cup of water, and the water ran out. So he went to the sink to refill the water, and he took his phone with him. And in the middle of committing suicide, he put a message on one of his social medias, goodbye to the world. And the boy's father, who was in touch with his son, and he knew that his son was always going through stuff, he called his son immediately. He saw it immediately, and he called his son immediately. And the son sees the picture of his father pop up on his phone. And when the picture of his father popped up on his phone, that was the most powerful moment. And he said, I could never do this to my father. I can never hurt my father like this. He'll never get over it. He'll be sad for the rest of his life. When I picked up the phone, he told his dad, Dad, please call 911. They need to pump my stomach. I'm in the middle of committing suicide. And this kid eventually was saved. If he would have looked at his father's picture and said, this guy, he treated me like garbage my whole life. He's better off without me. He never liked me anyways. Oh, so he had 5 kids, now he'll have 4. They'll sit Shiva, they'll move on. I'm a pain in the neck anyways. I cost them so much money. I cost them so much aggravation. They're better off without me. If he would have had those thoughts, he would have been dead. He's alive because of the relationship the parents had with him. And because of the father's love, because of the father's care. And that's the whole thing here is about the strong relationship that we are supposed to have with our children, to work on that relationship. And a lot of these things could be ironed out with the love and connection that we have with our children. And I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to give you a few shiurim on this. And I definitely learned a lot. And Shrat Hashem, to become the best parents that we could be. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for following along online. Okay. We'll see you guys. Thank you.